insane. You can't even make a drawing in 15 minutes. Let's say the
Dalla leggenda nace un niño, un hombre gitano, hijo de la luna hasta el amanecer. Luna quiere ser madre.
Let me see what happens if I add my microphone here. Hello? Here we go. All right. So I guess that's the starting of the interview with Mao Lin Liao. Hello, Mao. How are you, man? Let me quickly get back into the pre-roll here just to turn on. All right, let's go. We have some double. All right, now we're good. Hello, man. How are you? Thank you for getting into this adventure today with me, and we've been trying to figure out how to establish this the content for today and how to bring something relevant and just also have some fun with each other here, talking about the things that we like to do and a bit about the future. And I have so many questions about this market that never stops evolving. And Mao is here with a great material that has been publishing on the last few weeks, I guess, right, Mao? So, yeah, nice. Yeah, for sure, man. So before we start, how have you been on this whole crisis thing? Are you everything's all right with you, your family, your business? Yeah, 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 for sure. Well, anyways, that's what we can do. It's like just keep trying to connect with people, and uh, this is what's in our reach. Everything else is just like out of control, spinning like crazy. Yeah, sure. Also, we as try to establish this timeline or this topic for us to talk, and let's try to get started. Like, what? So you have some material, you some presentation that you have from the work that you've been developing and from your company. And first, we're going to be talking. Well, get started. Let's bring it on. Yeah, and just before you start, I would like to point out that I'm in my house with my family, and you can obviously hear my daughter. She's getting started on her little meal right now, so we're gonna get through this. But keep going. Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. So yeah, tell me a bit about it, about you then.
It's a bit short because I can talk a whole night about my company, but let's just start with some slides. Can you see my screen, Diego?
Yes, I can. Let's do it. Someone was saying that they couldn't hear your. Thank you, Valentin Besson. The we have already fixed the problem. I guess you can hear Mao right now. Let me increase the volume. Can you say something, Mao?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Test, test.
Now we can for sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Valentin. So yeah, while you're speaking, I'll cut my audio here for a bit. All right, man. Just kick it.
So yeah, my name is Mao. I've been in the industry for 20 years. Started as a 3D artist, worked on a couple of movies and game projects. But my passion is still within characters. So last year, I decided to start my own company called Replika. And the focus of Replika is to create the best looking characters, hopefully in future. So we're a quite new company, so that's why we try to make a little bit buzz around us. But basically, this is my company, and we're located in the Netherlands. Yeah, so let
Cool.
me show you some what we're doing. So yeah, the goal of my company is actually trying to improve our character system in a way that we can hopefully cross the uncanny valley one day. Because as you know, creating believable characters or human 2D is doable these days, but making it move and talk like a real human is actually very hard, and it's often look really fake.
Yeah, I see.
Um, So one of the things that we are doing a lot is 3D scanning with the replica. We use the traditional photogrammetry, 3D scanning and processing it, and now we're also adding 4D capture on top. That is something I can talk a bit later during my presentation. So you might have seen this character. She's Olivia. This is a like an in-house project that we did to showcase the world what we can do. We have a lot more characters, but it's very hard to show any clients project that we are is ongoing. So that's why we're only showing this in-house project right now. Of course, when you 3D scan your characters, you will probably won't be able to scan the hair and the grooming.
So sorry about the so all that model the previous model that you showed that's all in-house model textured and the grooming all in replica. So that was that your work or this is your
It's
team?
it's my team, yeah.
Oh, really
So
cool.
I started to use us because I used to be myself, but
Yeah,
we right now have like over 8 people working in the company.
that's really cool. And
So
how many people you have with you right now?
around 8 people right
Eight
now.
people, man. So this guy we're watching right now, he's an entrepreneur. He's not like a. I am an artist that I'm working on my stuff, but this guy has 8 people working with him and trying to build a vision for the future. So I highly appreciate it, man. So keep going.
Yeah, of course we didn't work all together on this one. So we have people from different disciplines. We have really highly skilled character modelers, but also like riggers and like mocap artists. So it's a mix of a lot of talented people. So yeah, for this character, we basically took a scan from credit to Triple Ganger from Infinity Realities. They provide the scan data, but the scan data, of course, wasn't enough to really showcase all the details that we want. So it was based on a scan, just as a side note. Okay. Then move to the next one. We also do grooming, a lot of grooming in XGen. I think we have some really talented people in the team. who can do amazing grooms, and from short to long hair. I think it's hard to find people who can do really good grooming these days.
Yeah, that's true, and that's such a big part of the realism at the end, right? Like if the groom, you can have a amazing facial model with textures, and then
Yeah,
if the hair is off, it can
yeah,
kicks you right away. Yeah,
exactly,
really cool.
exactly. Yeah. Of course, we also do in-house rigging, which I will talk a little bit more in minutes.
Yeah,
I think we seen the video on LinkedIn that I posted last week.
yeah, for sure.
That's went a bit viral. I think we have over 10K views on LinkedIn.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of rare for me
Wow,
to
it's
have so many
amazing,
views.
man. Yeah.
Yeah. So I received a lot of positive reactions from people, and but we're gonna talk a little bit more about this later. Yeah. Yeah. So we also do like character maybe effects like muscle simulations. We have something developed in house. I can give you a brief video. So we basically
Oh
built
yeah.
the whole anatomy of a human, adding the muscles on top of it.
Yeah.
And as you can see, all the muscles you see here are not modeled. They're all coming from muscles simulations.
That's so cool, man. It's really cool. Yeah, this is extremely important on the pipeline for sure,
Yeah,
and it looks really good.
yeah. So this is something we developed in house, but that's maybe for another interview because this is a very long. Otherwise, it would be very long. So yeah, we also do facial animation using the latest 4D capture. I think that we also talk a little bit later in the during the interview. But basically, we try to find out how we can use 4D capture. And for people who doesn't know about 4D capture, because 3D capture is so 2019, we're now in 2020. We should move up because now 4D capture is the
Yeah.
next big thing.
So this should be our next thing then. The 3D is no longer, or even the motion capture as it was. It's not gonna be able to keep up with the 4D. You think?
Yeah, I think 3D, camera, it's still the human face is so complex. I don't think you can try to encode all the how do you say attributes into a few sliders and make it work. I think it's so complex that you need to actually capture the real human with all the subtleties and then transfer that to a workable animation pipeline. But we're gonna talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, really, really interesting. So you have a video to show there?
Yeah, I can show you the video that we. I think this is an old one, but let's see. Yeah, with 40, it's nice, but it has still a lot of like small things that you need to fix in post, which is what we. So just to be, this is not something we did alone. We don't have the 40
Yeah,
set
this is really
here.
interesting. So this is all done with the 4D capture technique, right?
Yeah, using a studio in Vancouver called Pixel Light Effects. They provide all the 4D capture data, and we process it from our side.
Yeah, this is it's insane, man. The level of detail. Also, it's very heavy on the sense of like the amount of data. I read it somewhere on your post, like 50 gigs of data per second, right? That you were capturing on this.
Yeah, basically you're doing like a 3D scanning. Normally
Yeah.
you do one photo or like one scan at a time, but now you're doing at 60 scan per second. So
60
it's just
scans per second. That's
yeah,
amazing, man.
60 3D model per second.
Yeah, and how do you see the application of this technique in the pipeline, for example? So you would then this technique would then spit like the animation for the face, and then you would have like the rig for the neck or something like that, and then you attach this to the body. How does it? How do you see this being applied?
So the raw data is of course insane and big and having like a lot of flickering. So the only useful way I think we can use is to have a stable uh, topology that doesn't move and jiggle like crazy, like you see here. So that's what you see here. After we using a special software called wrap the head around a 3D scan data.
Yeah,
If you do it in over the 60 frames per second, you have like a head that's not moving and flipping that much, and you have constant topology.
yeah,
But that is not enough. That is, I mean, that's just the start of it. So we're taking like maybe like 5 to 6 GB per second. We convert it into like maybe like a workable 100 megabytes per second,
yeah,
and then from there we tweak the model a little bit more. This is the first step: is to actually make it looks and work and have this output like a Alembic cache
yeah,
file,
yeah,
which is this industry standard for animation. Using that animation cache file, we can do modification on top of it, like adding sticky lips, adding special, maybe more blinks. But also something that a lot of people don't know is you can retarget your current model into a completely new model, keeping all the animation. And
Oh,
that
I
is what
see.
we are doing.
Oh, I
You
see.
know,
So you can technically have like if you resculpt over that, you can then have I don't know, a creature or something like that using the data from this scan, right?
exactly. That's exactly what I mean. And usually we don't have access to this kind of data in the past. It's only like big studios like Island, Digital Domain, who has those. We call it. I think they call it the Disney Medusa system. It's in Zurich or Switzerland. But with Pixel Light, and they actually provide us the possibility to use this kind of data and use it to drive our characters. And the next thing that we're going to do here is actually also try to retarget this animation to a male or a completely different type of person, maybe an animal, or an orc,
Yeah. So and you guys are working with Pixel Light, right? So I think that Jing what is his name? Is Jinji?
Jingy,
Jingy.
Jingy, yeah,
Yeah, I think he liked the video that I published today. The guy seems to be really nice. I would like to meet him as well.
yeah.
Uh,
Talk to him. He's a really nice guy, and it's amazing that his team and the work he put up, how to
that's
work on
really
this
cool.
demo. Yeah,
Well, I think it's indeed. This is the thing about the facial rigging scene nowadays, and one of the reasons that I'm trying to talk to different people about it because there's so many new stuff coming along that it's hard to even figure out. Like we have this amazing technique that it seems to me that even right now there's still so much to discover, right? To
yeah. I
to
mean, there's a pro and con with the system. The To start with the con, it's not mobile. The system. It's you have to sit in front of a really big rig like this
the
cage.
40 rig, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like like a scanning system. So you
Yeah,
can't really walk around with it.
yeah.
But the nice thing is once you capture it and you stabilize the head, you can put on any body rig and reanimate on top of that. So the next part is actually showcasing that we can apply rigging on top of this as well and apply it on the body. The
I see.
good thing
So
about
yeah.
yeah
Oh, so that's I think that's the what we were talking about. So having a way of having a second layer of a rig or something like that, right? That's what you're saying.
yeah we definitely can do a body rig attached to it, but of course there will be some disconnect that you need to reanimate on top to make it work.
So how about the so if you can have like a base mesh on top of it,
Mhm.
uh, and this is likely going to be a bunch of blend shapes working, right? It's going to be or actually not. It's not even a blend shape. It's just you gotta be a blunt shape. Is that correct? Like the animation that of the face moving. Is it
Yeah,
a sequence of blunt shapes? How
yeah. Blend shape is actually just a shape. If it's a sequence, yeah, actually you can call it. It's not a blend shape. It is like a sequence of moving vertices. And but the nice thing is you can actually mix this with blend shapes.
oh, I
So
see.
for example, you can enhance the quality of the performance and make her look angry or sad while she's doing the performance, which is really nice layer of control that you have on top of this the performance. With the traditional way of doing motion capturing, you had to do a lot of magic to make it look real, right? And now you already have it real, so you don't have to add a lot of bells and whistles to make it look more believable. So the
Mhm.
only thing now you have to focus now is making it maybe more emotion, have it more drama or adding more impact to the performance. And that is something that we didn't have the chance to because during production we always try to make it look real, and to get there it's like 90% of our work is to make it look real. And now this using this process, it already looks real for 90%, and the last 10% is easier to achieve.
That's true. I completely agree. The stuff about so I'm working on this facial rig right now, which is what I think that you're doing as well, and it's so hard to replicate this muscle movements and the wrinkles of the skin. You're always fighting against these things, where this one gives you like you know this rough part, this very hard part
Yeah.
ready. This is amazing.
Yeah. And then the bonus is also you're not only capturing the 3D data, you're also capturing like a sequence of textures. So when you have change in the blood flow in your face, for example, when someone's angry, the face completely turn red. That's also captured using this system. So you can use that texture to drive your albedo basically this way. And
Well, we
I
have
think that's
sorry, we have a question here from Agos Veni on Facebook. So he's saying one question to do VFX or learn this type of motion capture. What do you recommend that I should study? What needs to be my main focus? It's a complicated question, but
I would say this is rather new what we do. So there's not much data available to play with this.
yeah,
And I think that's the most important for you if you want to start with something like this, is maybe contact Pixel Lights or us, and we can maybe help you with give you some test data to learn how it works. Because it sounds almost like magic, but it's actually not that different from traditional way of working with 3D models. But yeah, just
yeah.
imagine like the time when you have photography and photography before we have film. Film is basically a moving sequence of still picture. So
Yeah.
we're doing the same thing basically.
If you don't mind me adding, I would say that uh, because he might be also thinking about the VFX industry as a whole, or like I don't know, maybe working with faces in general, and for that maybe starting with the basics of rigging, then like of course I would assume Python, it's a must for anything Maya related or anything like that, but I don't know if you would agree with what I'm saying as well.
Yeah, I think depend on Jericho if the question is coming from I forgot his name, Valentine. What is his name?
Sorry,
What
the
is
Agus,
oh,
Agus.
okay. So is August like a character artist? Is he a rigger? What is his background?
Oh, sorry, I was speaking with the mic off. He just left the question. There's not much information about what he's doing, but
Okay,
he is saying that to do VFX.
to learn free effects. I think it's really hard to say because it's everyone in the VFX come from different. Some people work from like start as modeler and then move. Have a lot of interest and become interested in different fields. But there are a lot of people also who just focusing on rigging and just learn that part. Because as you know, the 3D pipeline is so big. You can learn like for 60 years and you still haven't learned everything. So
Yeah,
it's
there's
hard
so
for me
much
to
to
say.
learn, right?
Yeah, but yeah, I would say if he as a character related, I would say learn a lot of anatomy, to improve, because that's what probably help you most to get you the extra realism. Uh, and then the other thing is just working hard. I think we in the past I never turned down a job. I work on every job I could get and actually prove myself. Till I have built up the portfolio these days. You know, it's not something you can do in over one night or 1 year. It's like for me in this case, I've been working 20 years in the industry, moving from game to movies as well as post production, and I think that's giving you a lot of experience that you can use in different fields. For example, when I work in the film, I probably took some of this experience and brought it to the gaming. And I'm not, because in
Mao,
games
okay, sorry to interrupt your amazing speech. Can you leave it rolling the video on your background?
yeah, sure. So yeah, so I think if you want to learn, I think that there's no shortcut basically to get into Affair Effects. But maybe the question is, how do I get there? Don't be shy learning new things. Think outside the box and get as much experience as you can. That would be my advice.
That's awesome, and I think this is gold right there. Uh, this is something that I was actually, it was one of the reasons why I wanted to hear from you, is
Hmm.
to hear something like this. I think it's amazing to hear about the hard work and to because people sometimes may think that you gotta be, I don't know, predestined, or or you have to be born with the skill or something like that. Where I think this, what you're saying, just shows how much blood you need to leave on the keyboard to get it to the point where you can work with this thing. And yeah, uh, in order to move on into the next in order to move on into the next thing now, I'll just add that on top of what Mao is saying, or together with what Mao is saying, Python, like a lot of Python nowadays, it's you are not going to do anything in terms of automation or anything like that without Python. So get going on that as well, because it's very important. So with that, Mao, keep flowing, man.
Yeah, I think Python is indeed very important if you're working with rigging, to automate the stuff and make things work a bit controllable. I'm not like a deep programmer, but I am a supervisor who worked with a lot of programmers and riggers in the past to be able to know what we are talking about. So okay, I think I'm not gonna talk more about the my company because I think there's actually I have a few more slides. Maybe
Yeah, let's do it for sure.
let's see if I can.
We can come back
Oh,
to whatever you're talking. So for Agus, thank you so much for stopping by and asking your question.
yeah,
I hope it was useful. What for me at least was very useful was what Mao was saying. Uh, but if you have any further questions, please feel free to ask, and we will try to, I'll drop this bomb on Mao's lap, and let's see what he comes up with.
yeah. Just interrupt me. Otherwise I keep talking because otherwise people are.
No, no, it's awesome. Yeah, so keep going, man.
So this just to be said, these are the images not on mine, but just to saying about the industry trends about characters these days. More and more Hollywood is approaching studios to create like CGI version of actors, from the past, or maybe because they just died during the shoot, like in this case Paul Walker, as you can see. Also in the games, more and more games are being played these days, especially in this COVID-19 Corona crisis. People are staying in house, stay inside and playing more games. So I think game is also a very good market that we are trying to explore. But also the video content war with Netflix, creating more and more content, it will be needed to serve people. So these are the three. And the last thing, social media is also something that we are trying to focus on, because the rise of virtual influencer has been caught our attention as well, and also the fashion brands. So as you can see, we're virtual human is not just like a gimmick or something that we can only use in maybe in games or simple advertisements. Actually, it's more wider use. Yeah.
You know, that's
Um,
really cool.
yeah.
I agree with what you're saying and all the fields there. Social media, especially, it's been really interesting because this girls, especially the Leo Michaela, is the one
Mm-hmm.
that I know the best, at least. It's insane what they're doing. They're just really creating this character in Instagram, and people are buying it. Like they are being able to sell brands. They're being able, and this is something that's brand new. It didn't exist. I don't know, two,
I
3 years ago.
am surprised as well, because when they started, I was start also my own digital character, and I saw someone posting this on Instagram. I thought, oh man, that's not gonna work, because
Yeah,
it wasn't looking. I'm talking about like 6 7 years ago, and the model didn't look that great, to be honest. With all respect to the maker, they did a they did the best. Now these days, little Michaela look really really good,
yeah,
and they
yeah,
have big team behind it. But to go back to the social media, I don't think it's about, but it's just a proof again that you don't need really appealing characters to make it work. It's more the marketing team
yeah. That's
behind
true.
that makes this so successful. So even if I come out with a very beautiful girl or whatever, it's not gonna work because I don't have the marketing background to to make this character and the backstory
Yeah,
to make it
yeah.
hit.
I agree, and also I would add as well that because of the like, I think Leo Michaela came in first, so
Mm-hmm.
it was like surprising, and it was like something it was an innovation, and now there's it's starting to we're starting to have a lot of this thing going on, and then as a consequence of that, it's becoming just like a just like if I was creating an Instagram for myself and expecting to be famous instantaneously, right? Just because it's just becoming
Yeah,
another human or something like that. But this ones in particular, got out first, so they're just like booming, and
yeah,
but anyways, that's kind of a side topic.
no, but it's a very interesting topic to talk. Actually, I wish we have we can talk the whole night about it. But she's definitely something we have to keep our eyes on, especially now these days with COVID-19, Corona. Where real people cannot go out. Maybe these virtual replacements, or virtual avatars, will actually become the savior for the brands. And because they can't rely on real people, maybe the virtual people will be able to, because they
Yeah.
basically will
Oh.
never get sick.
Yeah, but it's weird, right? Like the consequences of it are still, and also this, it's which is something that I would like to talk eventually as well. There's AI stuff that's going on, like replacing face, the deep fakes. They're coming along. The consequences of it are still like, we still don't know, or maybe they're starting to come up. But just like the content of
Mm-hmm.
this movie that
Mm-hmm.
with Robert De Niro, right? That which
Yeah,
I think it was done with.
Irishman. I think it was Irishman. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they did it with a lot of AI stuff, I guess. But yeah, cool. You can move on if you want.
yeah, sure. So maybe talk a little bit my own project. This
Sure.
is Alex. Alex is one of the project that when I was doing a lot of characters, was my own project, because I want to see how far I can play like a virtual girl from scratch. So she's not based on a real person, and also I want to see how far I can push it in terms of technology. And this is what result that I locked myself up for almost 1.5 months, and didn't do anything, just study this, making this skill. But of course, working blindly on a character like this will be very hard. So I still advise people to ask for opinion from other people. Hey, what do you think of this character? If you
Oh,
just do it like this, you only have a tunnel vision, and that's what I heard a lot of people get stuck in the process of making a character. It actually is good to ask for advice, and I think that makes your character more better. If you ask me.
oh yeah, the results you got here are really outstanding. You know, and you're saying that you did this in 1 month. I think that many people would spend 6 months on this easily. Pretty,
To be
pretty.
honest, this could be done in 2 weeks, but I was like 2 weeks of studying. Like, does this bigger eyes work? Does this blonde hair works? With this skin color. It was like a lot of trial and error. I wish I had the making of video of this. Actually, I had like almost hundreds of versions of her before that looks really bad. With wrong lipstick, maybe too sharp. Like eyes off. This all these tiny things. But the working 1 month, focus in one thing, it's really helped you to develop like a special focus, and I learned a lot from it. And those knowledge I still use these days to guide my people. Work on characters, like be careful with the eyes. You cannot make the skin tone, the eye too light, because it has has the
To match
same
the skin tone, yeah, for
skin
sure.
tone exactly. This cannot be too sharp, otherwise it looks really like fake, or these
Yeah, and
kind of
it's
things.
and I can imagine like the only way for you to guide your team like to the next level must be to know what you're talking about. Otherwise, you're
Yeah,
it's I don't see the way you could do it without having this kind of work in your backpack. But yeah, really
yeah.
cool.
Thank you.
And so, if you want to talk about the facial, or I don't know if you have more slides there.
I think a couple more, but let's see if there's
No, no, please, then just keep going, man. I
um
remember you have some pretty cool other projects there.
yeah. Go a little bit quicker on this one because I also worked on a girl called Sweetie, and she was a virtual girl that's been used to hunt pedophiles online.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
this
so
one's
this
amazing.
Yeah, this is it's an amazing project. So through this project, the police found out a lot of pedophiles online, and some of them got arrested. Through
Yeah.
Interpol, the team behind it, not me only, the whole team received 13 golden lion, including one for a good cause. So I'm really proud of this project that we can use 3D and CGI to help to make the world a better place.
So
So
just to
I'm
just
really
to clarify what the project was about, Mao was telling me a little bit in depth in the other day. So basically, he created this character that it's this little girl, and then he was using this character online as if it was a real person in order to capture like pedophiles, and it was apparently was successful to the point that he got these amazing prizes. Canis, some people spend their whole lives trying to get such a prize, and yeah, man,
yeah.
amazing!
I got a
Congratulations.
little lucky, to be honest, because I didn't know about the project. It was such a secret that we couldn't tell anyone about the project. The content also, even after we finished it, we couldn't talk for a year about it because when we realized what is really happening, we know there might be some percussion from people, who knows about that we work on it
That's crazy.
because of sensitivity. So we are that's really intense, this project. But that is I could fill the whole hour with it. But let's move to the next slide.
Yeah, of course.
And if people want to know more about it, you can always maybe send me a message or ask Diego.
Oh
We
yeah,
can
yeah.
connect.
On
So,
the stream here, or personally, or whatever. We have around 20 something people live with us right now. So for everyone watching, and there's a bunch of stuff going on. We're kind of testing this model of interview on the spot. So Thank you for your patience, for everyone on 10,000 hours, for on Maya animation and rigging, and ZBrush. This are simply the best groups on Facebook. I'd like to thank everyone for their patience, and also we hope to be on the measure of possible be bringing like bring to you guys some content, some because Mao here is doing an amazing job. I am just trying to learn from guys like this, and try to listen to some knowledge, because there's so much new stuff going on. If we don't speak to each other, it's just impossible to keep up. And
Yeah.
so again, that's thank you so much, Mao, once again, and that's just going.
Oh, it's an honor to be here, to meet you by one of the guy I knew from, I told you I know you from a post you did with
Yeah.
Kara, the rig. So you're also famous, and I thank
Yeah.
you for the opportunity here as well.
Cool, man. Awesome. Let's
Okay.
go.
Um, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the rig now because I actually started posting this like a week ago, and
Yeah.
actually it went a bit viral. I got almost like 700 likes and
Yeah, that's awesome,
10,000
man.
views. So that's one reason why we're here to talk
Yeah, yeah.
about the spatial rig. So let me show you this in a live demo.
Yeah, yeah. So before you do this, let me pop up my. I have to pop up another screen here. Let me just drop it to the side. I want to share this on LinkedIn as well, because we didn't share it on LinkedIn. So let me grab the link here, because this is some information that I'm sure people on LinkedIn could be interested in.
Yeah.
And so, how was this thing of the publishing on LinkedIn? Did you get a lot of messages from different people uh, interested on the system, and or
Yeah, it was a really big surprise because when I showed this video, I was like, okay, maybe just show what we're doing, like like our R&D, and then how far we are with the rigging.
yeah,
And then I never dreamed that we, because usually when I post on LinkedIn, I get maybe 5 or 10 people liking
yeah,
the stuff. So it's like for professional. It's not like Facebook, but receiving so many reactions from professional people working all around the world, from beta to it's amazing that people are looking at it and give me thumbs up for that. So yeah, kind of
right. So
made me really motivated to work more on this rig. Yeah, with our
pretty
guys.
good. All right, Mo. So it's shared. Let's just kick it, man.
Yeah. So just for your information, this model is it's not based on a scan. It's a model that we made to show this demo. And my idea about facial rig is it should not look too complicated, because usually when you have a rig, it's really complicated. It has a lot of controls. So our rigs is minimal, really minimal. So you don't see any controls unless you hover over it. So I call this dynamic visibility. Dynamic visibility. So it allows you to actually, when you click it, you can actually move it. But you don't have, because what I don't like when I working by myself, I want to study the face. I don't want to see the face with thousands of points and lines,
Hmm.
which is of course some people prefer that way, but I don't like that. So same with our controls. Like when you want to control the head, you only need it, then you show it.
Let's see. So basically, you're grabbing the control on the you're turning it on the UI.
Yeah. So there's a control that say dynamic visibility. Let me
Okay.
turn it on it again. So by default it's off. Then you can see everything and you can modify. You can do your whole thing.
Yeah.
But with this dynamic visibility, it allows you to go to minimal mode. There's only one bug you can see here. This one's not hidden. But basically, if you know the position of the controls, you can
Oh, you can
actually,
hover over it.
yeah, you can hover it. Yes,
Oh man, that's really interesting.
so you don't need to see everything because you know the shortcuts, you know the landmarks where you have on the face. So it's easier to look at, judge the animation, the pose better than looking at
For
everything.
sure.
So that
That's
is
a that's,
yeah,
that,
one thing
that-
I miss a lot in rigs. So I say, okay, let's try to do that.
that's
And
a really
another thing,
interesting idea.
yeah. So that is one thing we, and of course you can still have the full control if you want, the classic controls. You can still have it on, and you can say, okay, let's offset this whole rig. You can still do that.
Mm-hmm.
You can still do control the rig like how you traditionally with the UI floating, or not. So that's the basic thing that I really like to have. And also, I don't want my face when you actually animate the head. I don't want people to do FK all the time and rotate the neck joint one by one, because before you know, you get really weird deformation going on. So that's why we're adding this look at head rig that actually you see the whole neck muscles is automatically animating following
Mm.
direction. There's no manual counter or rotate needed. So you
That's
just
awesome.
look at this and you're done. So that's the second thing that is very high on my list. That I want to have a rig that don't need to count, because I've seen animators work and try to animate the neck. It always looks off this way. Okay,
So,
that
are you working with blend shapes though on the neck, or is it it's all a systemic approach? How is it that you're working on?
I think we have an RBF solver that's a blend between different blend shapes indeed.
Oh, I see. That's really cool. All right.
Yeah. So okay, so what we have in the rig, we have eyes control, the usual thing. We can actually do the whole squint, the blink. We're also adding like an iris dilation effect. You can
Oh,
change
really
as
cool.
well. Uh,
Can you do the dilation again? Ah, yeah. Here we go. And this is
everything
all and this
blend
is
shape.
all with shader effects from like direct X shader effects, right?
Yeah, yeah. So the skin shaders is a direct X effects. So that's how we can get dynamic wrinkle maps, like you see here.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's all from
that's what I was thinking. And so this is normal maps.
yeah, yeah. There's a normal map that get blended all together.
Yeah, yeah, really cool, man.
Yeah. So our base mesh is pretty high as well. I mean, it's not like the lowest, but it still run like really high, like real time. You know, and it's
And
good
the
to have that.
expression is it's beautiful. Oh, look at the density of the mesh. It's a very dense mesh, man.
Yeah, I actually I learned this from looking at the breakdowns from Weta. When I look at the base mesh, it's really dense. So I thought, because when you go a little bit higher, you can actually capture more nuances and wrinkles. Would be even better if you could model those wrinkles in your base mesh, so you don't need to do another wrinkle map pass.
And how do you
But
feel about the sculpting these wrinkle maps? Why would you choose or why did you choose the maps instead of the actually sculpting it on the blend shape?
we do have the scoped, but you never give you the really fine wrinkle compression that you see.
Oh yeah, I
So
see. Yeah, that kind of
yeah,
I see what you mean. It's
at least
impossible.
for this character, because she's kind of realistic, we don't want to break that. Of course, with cartoony character, you can add a lot of wrinkles and edge loops, and it will looks okay. But for the fine detail, I'm talking about really fine detail. You need it. Yeah,
That's really good. That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, and so keep going.
So yeah, that's one thing. We also what I really like, this one feature we have is we call the eye follower. So now it's following the head, right? The eyes,
Yeah.
the typical dead looking character, like a robotic, you know. But when you have the eye following the world, you actually start to have someone looking at you.
Ah, really nice.
And
Really
if you
nice.
look at the eyes, the blend shape is changing as well. Because when you look down, your eyelids look down. So I often see animators struggling with that, animating the head without animating the eyelid down and following the. So we try to take a lot of those pain away from animators. So they're only focusing on getting
Wow.
the best out
Yeah.
of the character.
It's
So
really it,
that
man.
is
This is a very like a beautiful touch to especially for the demo, right? Because when you demo it, like it's very hard if you have everything disconnected to demo it
yeah,
in a compelling way.
yeah,
In this way, you have just by turning this control around, you just get this,
yeah,
almost a uncanny feeling, not that it's not that's not just because it's real, it's very real, right?
Yeah, it's really satisfying to play
Yeah.
with the rig. To be honest, I keep playing like a game. Like, oh, can I do this? Can I do that with the facial? Can I break it? When
Yeah,
does it break? Eventually, it will break somewhere, but it's just pushing the limit where it can break.
yeah, really interesting. Cool,
Uh,
man.
we
And how
also
about,
yeah.
yeah, I was gonna ask about the mouth, like what kind of shapes can you achieve with the mouth, and what was your vision for the mouth? How did you uh,
So the mouth, as you can see, is very minimal. We only have like six direction,
okay.
and the idea about the whole rig is based on facts, but facts doesn't really give you. It's not like okay, you have to make this exactly like that because as you know, when we combine different shapes, it can break other shapes, and
Yeah,
often when you doing like the pull up and you pull to the right, it will change the dynamics and it looks sometimes off. So
that's true.
we spend a lot of time on each blend shape and make it such a way that we don't need to do correctives. And when I talk about corrective, it's like, okay, you have one shape that looks good like this, and there's another shape that looks good on this, but in between it looks weird, right?
Yeah,
So to create like a corrective, the blend in between the two shapes. That is the traditional way of doing things, and that's also because there's not a lot of time in the VFX world. Basically, you have to pump out the rig really fast and make it look
yeah,
good.
yeah, that's true.
But if you pay more attention to the combination rigs, that you actually can, you can actually have more realistic result and also without correctives. And by spending a little bit more time tweaking the shapes and how we do it, that's a bit secret. I can't share you that,
No,
but
it's all good, man.
yeah,
That's just this is your company
yeah, yeah.
special sauce.
Yeah, it was working really well for us, and as you can see, we try to give every control multiple direction,
Yeah,
like X, Y, Z. So now we don't, instead of like having like one control, we have four control or maybe six control because every control can go up, down, left, right, and in depth,
wow.
and they should work together with all the other blend shapes. So now you can do this, and what you're doing, and then you can do it like the chewing shape like this. This is my, I really like this one.
Now
You can
this one is amazing for me. So because you can see like this is what I was impressive for me. Wow, this is crazy, man.
you can like someone eat something like just by moving a bit forward and then
Ah,
this
this is
forward.
beautiful. This is money right there, man. Give it a zoom in and look it to the side and do it again, man. It's
Okay, so side, then let's put this the red one. So you're doing like a depth. It's like nom nom nom. So when you set it up the correct way, she will start to eat. And it's very
yeah,
easy to make someone eat. And the nice thing is that even when you do a pucker or kiss, you can still do the shape again. It's
yeah.
and even if you're going back, like like doing this, you can still doing the same thing. It doesn't break because it's made for that.
I see. There are all the things. Well, so as you said, it's all blend shape based. So the slide thing, it's a very well done connection between a bunch of blend shapes, right?
Yeah, it's basically blend shape. And what makes the rigs usually slow, besides all the deform that you stack on top of, is the long list of blend shape. So in our system, we only use maybe less than 70 blend shapes because we don't use the correctives. If we add correctives, it becomes 150 blend shapes, and then the whole rig becomes slower and slower and slower.
I
So
see.
spending more time on your rigs will actually allow you to optimize a little bit. Uh,
That's
I
crazy.
would also add a tongue, by the way, just to make a bit.
And do you plan to? Oh, that's great, man. And
It's
look
gross,
at
but it sounds
and
great.
no, it's awesome, and also the texturing is great for the
Yeah,
tongue as well. That
yeah, we add
helps to
some.
sell a lot. And how about the like? Is it? Would you say that this is speech enabled? Do you think you can do like a face capture or like a face tracking and transfer like a speech to it?
To be honest, we haven't tried that yet, but I think with the with our system, I think we should be able to do that. Like to do speech because with all the control we have, we can achieve the same the phonemes and phonemes as well.
I see. So all of the yeah, then I'll be very curious to see this, like this face
Yeah.
really
So
performing something.
yeah, I would probably gonna show that next time, but it's not tested for yet, but just
Oh,
to show
but
it.
it's a. I think that just by the level of result, you might have to rethink something, but I think that
Yeah.
you're probably gonna get a very very good result right out of the box. And yeah, man. So, what's the plan for this rig now? What are you thinking about it? Is it an automated system? How?
Yeah, it's mostly scripted in Python as well, and we actually now we just moved to Qt. The interface is now dockable now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Before it was not dockable. And the next thing is that we make it a little bit easier to replace shapes by like drag and drop. We want to add easier way to replace the wrinkle maps by drag and dropping the the zones, you know, the so the whole thing is to actually make it a little bit more user friendly and adding make it also more focused around the lips, having more controls. Because again, I think it's the only way to make this work to know if this is going to work perfectly is actually adding some people to, hey guys, can you test our rig and see where you can have some
Yeah, give it to some people to test it, right? Yeah.
yeah.
And
So yeah,
so just a question. So, how many people you had working on this face, and for how long did this group of people worked on it to get to this result?
so this is like on and off project we're doing. We actually started last year, but we didn't finish it because of the lack of time. But then we pick it up again. So I think maybe we work like 4 months on this project. Maybe the rigging a little bit more, but it's sometimes good to leave it alone for
Yeah,
one month and then come back. Oh yeah, how come I couldn't have seen that problem
that's true.
before?
That's true.
And so but yeah, but now we try to improve like improving the code and actually make it a bit more production ready. I think right now it's still not ripe for production, but we're working on getting it ready, and hopefully we can release it soon on the market. Yeah.
That's really really cool, man. And yeah, it's there's not many people out there doing some crazy great uh, facial rigs. As we spoke, we have only that same handful of guys, snappers, trilateral, and digital domain, and I think that's mostly it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it might be some other that it's not coming to mind right now. And this new guys that are coming to kick the bucket called Reblika. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, we of course we cannot, those with all respect, ILM digital domain, they've been doing so many years of research. I don't expect us to catch up with them, but I
no, yeah,
think we try our best by we are the small boutique studio, try to be stubborn and do it our own way, because I think there's like many ways to roam, I mean, to achieve a certain goal, there's many ways to do it. And maybe doing their way, doing my way. There's not only one way. It's, everyone has his
yeah.
own way.
I,
So
I completely agree, and the fact that you believe this and that you're pursuing this, even with so many questions and uncertainties, it's admirable because it's what you're saying. Like there's all those guys, but also if you don't do it, you're never gonna get anything. So I'm sure as you move on, as you move forward, you're going to get bigger and bigger projects, and to the point where you're going to have enough resources and people to
yeah,
build whatever rig you want, and maybe who knows, maybe get something closer to digital domain. But of course they are the tip of the spear right now, or for
mm,
years already,
yeah,
so
yeah.
very hard to do something to give them, but that's not even the point.
Mm. Yeah, but I do also see like because of this crisis, a lot of people are leaving bigger companies because when you have a bigger company, it's harder to survive than small company like us. That is easier to survive in the crisis moment. And I think this is also the right moment for some people, who's fed up with big corporate life to actually work on something small, but more really focused. And that's our difference. We don't try to become like good at everything. We just try to be good at one thing. That's making our human looks good and move good. So
That's really cool. And also, then maybe in a few months or well, not putting a time frame, but maybe in the future you can also combine this rigging technique with the 4D capture, and then start to go nuts on new techniques and
yeah,
stuff.
that is the also on the big plan, like to integrate this rig on top of the 4D motion, so we can actually modify the performance on top of it. So that is the big next thing. Rig, we have seen 3D capture, now it's 4D capture. We see normal rig, now we have 4D capture rig. So we're
That's
gonna
so cool.
step up our game slowly.
Yeah, that's sure,
Yeah.
man. Well, so do we have more stuff on the hat, or are we starting to wrap up? How are you?
Um, yeah, I think most of them I showed already. Maybe just one thing. We also added a lot of attention to the neck. If you look at the neck, it looks okay, right?
Yeah.
But if you turn off the neck muscles, this is
Oh,
how it looks.
yeah, I can see that. Look at that.
So that's like flat. There's nothing. So if you turn it on, uh, uh, suddenly you have neck muscles.
Huh.
But people take for granted. So it's really easy to see, well, if something's right, there's nothing wrong
Yeah,
with it.
yeah.
When it's missing, often you can't tell what's missing, but there's something missing.
Yeah, I can totally see what you say. Like people, faces are something that everyone can, no matter of like seconds, you can anyone with experience or not can look at it and say, there's something off. Maybe like the more experience you have, the more you can say, okay, this is what's going on. That's why it's wrong.
Yeah,
But like the magic of faces is this: anyone
there's
can.
too much.
Oh, this is beautiful, man. Can you push
You
it up
can,
again?
yeah, to be honest, I'm not happy with the wrinkle map, so I'm still updating those.
Ah,
But you can do like really crazy, like different, like this with it.
oh, I see.
Yeah, you can still like you can overreact. You can also overreacting it, like like okay, let's make this wide open. This where's the open? Okay, never mind. So we can put this up. Let's make an extreme post just to say maybe let's see if we can break her. That's already starting to break. So you can do like really extreme like poses, and then there's the neck muscles.
Even on the stream poses, it really good.
Yeah. Because I try not to exaggerate. If you exaggerate, that's the more cartoony rig, and I believe that you cannot let a character animator break the rig by giving the control to make a pose that is not possible with human. So, if for example, if I can make the jaw move so much forward, that's not insane. That's not possible. Then it will break the realism. And if
Yeah,
you don't know what is the maximum, they will always use the maximum because they're animator, and the animator is about showing the inner, how you say, character, right?
yeah,
And you want it to be subtle with human. That's the difference. Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we have a pretty good demo here that we are certainly gonna be able to come back in the future to
Nope.
check out the. Oh, look at that! Really
Yeah.
cool.
So yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to
Yeah, let me see.
go.
Oh, so there's a bunch of things here. So Deepak on YouTube is asking. He's saying I have a question. For the wrinkle maps are not baked on the surface, right? But how it is activated again during the render time?
So we're using a DirectX shader from Maya. That's it's not like secret. It's something you can activate through the. I think you have to go to Maya plugins. It comes with a DirectX shader, I think. If I and there's somewhere here direct shader. Not the CGFX, the direct shader. Here, this one.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
if you activate that, you have to also change your Maya preference into a different display mode. So by default, Maya is running on OpenGL.
yeah,
Okay. But for this shader, you need to use DirectX 11, which
yeah.
will allow you to use game-like shaders and which allow you to do normal map blending and stuff like that.
No,
So
that's crazy. And so if you had to then move on into some sort of render engine such as Arnold or V-Ray or whatever, you would rebuild the shaders on the other engine, and then the normal maps, the blending of the normal maps, is it easily transferable to the shaders of the render engine? How does it work?
yeah, in this case we will swap the normal map with displacement maps, and it's basically a different the output goes into different inputs and
Yeah,
more or less the same way. It's just different shader. Yeah,
yeah. So basically, the controls are ready for that.
yeah, yeah.
All you need to do is like change the instead of the normals, or you would go for displacement. Pretty good. I
Yeah,
think
it's
that
just like intensity slider that's been driven. Yeah, attributes. Yeah.
yeah. And the good thing is that do you think you could, for example, use this for animation and then have a render version where so for the animator to be able to see the wrinkles and stuff, you would do it in DirectX, and then you would for the render you would use this data for the render. Is it? I don't know if the question is clear, but uh, would this be the
Yeah, I
pipeline?
mean, we try to show as much fidelity as we can. As you can see here, we also adding the eyelashes. So without eyelashes, the eye looks different. So for the blade blast, we're adding the eyelashes. That is really slow. As you can see, it's actually slowing down the whole viewport a lot.
Oh, I see.
If I turn it off, you see now I suddenly have from 10, I have like 14 frames per second. So
Oh,
it's something we can choose to but for blade blast it should be fine. And then we try to reduce the amount of blade blasting because we want to make this look as good on viewport. So this is without shadows, and this is a shadow.
I see. I see.
It's a big difference. Yeah.
And Deepak is also asking if you use Katana in some way.
Katana. I know studio who used it, but I haven't used it in conjunction with Katana.
I see.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
so Deepak, what he was saying as well is that this is like an experimental, and my baby's here. You guys can clearly hear it. So she'll make an appearance before we drop the meeting. But he's saying that this is an experimental rig that they're developing, and it's still need some
beta. Yeah.
yeah, the beta version. So after it's done, I would kindly invite Mao again to demo the utmost thing that he developed. But yeah, it's like certainly there will be stuff for render, there will be stuff for real time, and it will be able to do a lot of stuff. Right now, what's important also is like the just the achievements in terms of the formation and this mixing of stuff, which can speaks for itself. I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, for us, this is like proof of concept. How do we see our rig? Like as I said in the past, minimalistic, less control as possible, but maximum range of motion, and actually good feedback, good visual feedback. It should. This is what I usually miss when I work with rigs. It's usually gray or bad shaders, and a lot of controls. I don't know where to start with. So I take away all this noise that blocking me from getting the right results, and this is coming from personal need to improve the existing rig that I see.
That's really cool. And so throughout all this time that we've been online, which is already 1 hour and 20 minutes, we have a constant audience of about 20 to 30 people. So that's
Amazing.
totally because of your work, man. So congratulations.
Uh,
I hope that for everybody that is watching right now, it's just being informative. No, we're trying our best here. We were me and Mao. We were before starting. We were like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? How's it gonna be? But it seems that once we start to have fun, things start to flow for sure.
yeah, I think I agree. I think it's you have to start somewhere, and it's we're in the Corona time, so we have to make the best out of it. You can do two. One thing is fighting it, or use it to do R&D like us, and actually enjoy the time in the downtime, and make the best out of it. I think that's a message I want to give to everybody. Don't give up. Just now's the time. You're sitting inside. You have a lot of time. Do something with the time, and get the best out of yourself. I would say.
So if you wanna, so would you like to show anything else, or how are you feeling in this moment?
I would recommend people, if you haven't don't know us, just visit our website, replica.com.
Yes, that's
Uh,
awesome. Yeah, please do.
it's it's a shameless self plug, but it's yeah, you can see more of our work. I can't show everything on this presentation, but I'm sure you'll be able to find a lot of familiar projects that
Um,
we have done in the past.
Look at your
So
picture on the front page. This is awesome, man.
yeah,
It's a beautiful website, man.
oh, thank you.
Congratulations.
We're gonna change it completely. It's gonna be black.
Yeah. No, but it's
Dark
looking
mode.
really good. Cool. So that being said, I will leave the link to Reblica's website and link to Mao as well on the publishing. I'll edit the publishing of the lives that we have published on LinkedIn and on the other groups. And yeah, please visit the website. Get to learn or get to know a bit more about Reblica and Mao. You can see that he's a very passionate guy that has a lot to add to all of us.
Yeah, again, thank you, Diego, for the opportunity and inviting me to have this chat here. It's been a pleasure to talk
Yeah,
to you, and I hope we can do more broadcasts in the future
yeah,
as
man.
well.
Let's do it
Yeah,
for sure. Well, thank you, man, for we it was like one hour and almost half an hour before we started. We were like, okay, let's set this thing up. So thank you for embracing this adventure and exposing yourself to some possible mistakes here. We had the best of the intentions on our hearts, I'm sure. So it was a great pleasure on my side as well. I think we're kind of closing. Do you want to bring it back to our faces here so that we can say
yeah,
goodbye?
sure. Yeah,
All right, there we are.
okay, guys.
So finally, we are getting into the closing of the stream. So for everyone that stopped by, thank you so much. It was an amazing experience for me, and for hope it has been for Mao as well. If the
Definitely.
above all, I hope that the information has been useful and that we can take something out of it. And if you guys have some suggestions for future broadcasts of stuff that we can make it better, or or even topics that you would like us to talk about, please let us know in the comment. So Deepak is saying on the on YouTube, he's telling us that the presentation was great and telling you great work, Mal. So thank you,
Thank
Deepak.
you.
Thank you for
Thank you, Deepak.
participating. All
Thank
right,
you, guys.
Mal.
Yeah.
So man, thank you
Okay.
so much. Again, I will leave the link for Mao's website, so Reblica, and links to the all the presentations that I did. I'll put it on the places that we published. That's what I have to say. I'll leave the last words for you, man.
Yeah. Again, so yeah, keep safe and keep yourself healthy, and and keep learning. I would say. Thank you, guys, for your time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'll end up the stream right here and
Yeah.
see you guys.
See you guys next time. Bye.